want to focus on transforming our triggers. So we cannot, we can, I should say, stop them from holding us back, and instead treat them like, a ladder to our inner strength. So it's how we're going to view them, right? So we don't get so annoyed by them and so triggered that we can't, take action. It's very easy to get caught up in our triggers. Let's see, triggers. I want us to see triggers for what they really are, and they are gifts to transformational healing. A trigger is merely a messenger on soul's journey, right? It's merely a messenger on soul's journey trying to speak to you. These triggers are not your truth, but limiting beliefs from your ancestors stored in your cellular memory, combined with your life experiences. But when you can heal the initial trigger or the initial trauma, right, or false belief, you can set yourself emotionally free. That's huge. You can be liberated to move through life with greater ease and grace. Therefore, I want to share with you 3 conscious ways to release triggers so you can heal those old wounds that were passed down to you and that have found their way, right, into your life so that you can live more empowered and truly the confident you that you're meant to be. As you move through these motions, right, you will learn here, you will begin to recognize that it's not your fault. Though blaming and shaming ourselves is something we often do, it's not the way to healing. It delays your soul from finding the majestic sense of peace that you deserve. It does not mean, peace does not mean things don't happen in our day that might throw us off. That's an illusion, right? That everything has to be tranquil. It's how we deal in those moments, how stuck we get in them, how annoyed and how they fester within us. That's what we care about. Instead, we use that sense of peace, right, when feeling triggered to develop a new perspective. Let's rewrite the old script and give your life a different story to tell. And many of you have done this, and you can still do it more. To heal and release triggers, first, begin to be compassionate. Compassionately examine any beliefs you have that you're carrying around from your family, such as, I am not smart enough, or you've been told your whole life you're too sensitive. You need to gently address these parts that have felt flawed about yourself. Those things that trigger you to feel self-doubt and other negative narratives or emotions are messengers from the unhealed parts of who you are that lie hidden in your DNA. It takes both compassion and analysis to identify your triggers so that you can manage them. The first step is taking control over your self-doubt and negative beliefs. We have to become aware before we can process. Then you can begin to pick up on patterns, analyze your past behavior, and make adjustments to build on what is working and eliminate what is not. 2, next, I encourage you to reprogram those negative beliefs. Start with one trigger that you know you have that has, an emotional charge to it, and begin to compassionately reprogram it by listening to that trigger and intercepting the negative message before it takes hold stronger. Counter it with reminders of your positive traits, your positive goals, your positive accomplishments. Tell yourself This is not my truth. When you have a memory in your teenage years where you were not accepted, remind yourself in that moment, this is not my truth. What is actually my truth is I am lovable, I am capable, I am accepted, right? Substitute the negative belief with a positive truth. 3, track your trigger's origin. Work on uncovering the root of the trigger in order to truly let it go. Spend some time exploring the origin of your triggers. Knowing where your triggers come from allows you to know yourself better, such as if they're derived from childhood or past negative experiences. Oh, or does a parent or sibling have the same trigger? If a parent or sibling has the same trigger to you, well, it's an inherited trigger. That is a sign that, right, that it's been passed down to you. It can also be a learned behavior that you have from your parents that taught you to be annoyed at these things. Okay? The more you know about yourself, the better you can understand what is holding you back, and the more empowered you are to do something about it. You may feel tremendous rage or sadness that your family never believed in you, so you never learned to believe in yourself. It's common. It happens. It's no fault. There's nothing negative about it. Dig deep into the roots of your triggers to unearth them and stop them from growing like an endless bed of weeds. I want you to grow flowers, all right? Not weeds. Once you do, you can plant a garden of peace, of prosperity. If you've ever listened to my money acceleration program, you know that I'm reprogramming the mind there through, right, the bed of prosperity, the fruit of prosperity. And that's what I want in your life. Your life is not meant to be a series of old songs playing on repeat, but rather a beautiful melody that you're happy to live in, you're happy to vibrate in, you're happy to rejoice in. That's what I want for you. Are you aware? Let me ask you, put in the group here, in the chat, are you aware of triggers that you have? So I'll give you an example of my trigger. And I've worked on it a lot over the years. Growing up, my father would get really upset with our family dog when it barked at the door for anything. Okay. So here I had this cute little dog as an adult that I had as a puppy and trained it, and she was super timid and really quiet. But if she barked, I instantly got triggered. Guess what? Dogs bark, right? That was a trigger that wasn't serving me because I would get so upset inside. I've let go of that trigger, all right? I do understand the dog's bark. So tell me, are you aware of a trigger you have? Let me know. Hello, beautiful Courtney. I'm so glad you're here too. Yavashi, I've missed you. Yep, and I'm grateful you're back. Okay. Courtney lives in Houston, Texas. Do you know, Courtney, I'm going to come visit you. I have never been to Texas. I don't think I've ever been. No. Hi, Maureen, how are your cute dogs? I'll say, everything good with them? All right. Now, are you telling me that nobody has a trigger on here? Right? Nobody has a trigger? Nobody gets upset when somebody doesn't say hi to them in the family or they don't get included in a group text? Nobody has a trigger? I don't believe that. Okay. If you want my help to shed light on it, let me know what it is. Hi, Michelle. Tell me what your trigger is, dearest. Not knowing enough. Okay, Courtney got one in there. Hey, Dina. Okay, so a trigger of not knowing enough, I call this, Courtney, a pattern of never being enough. Like we're always learning. We have to know more in order to be worthy, right, of that success we desire. Courtney, the truth is, if you never learned anything more about angel readings, about talking to your guides, I think you could be pretty successful just as you are. All right? That is an inherited pattern, by the way. Okay? There's always something good to something, right? And that good is for you that you love knowledge. The loving knowledge might be a little bit out of balance. So the trigger of feeling not enough because you don't know more, no, that is not your truth. Because I know you and I know that you already know enough. It does not mean we have to know everything, right? You don't know how have to, gosh, I can't even talk. You don't have to be an expert in marketing to have a successful business. You just have to know what you do, and you do. Okay? All right. Who else? If you get a messy room, Urvashi, you get really upset. Yeah. And I suspect you had a parent that did too, that was really clean, right? So I'm going to tell you, I'm going to give you I've had this, all right? And when my kids were little, I can say I was a clean freak, okay? I can say that now. And I'll tell you how this started. I'll give you an example of my own life. We had to make our beds when we were children. My children made their beds too. So don't get me, it's not that that's wrong, okay? And there's a good thing about making your bed. But when I was young, I think I was in the 3rd grade, my mother came to school, took me out of class to come home and make my bed. So I hear you when you say a messy room is a trigger, okay? I've been there. So I would encourage you to accept yourself in a messy room, accept yourself with a messy room. It does not mean that you're going to live in a messy room, right? It means that you're working through the trigger so it doesn't upset you and get you frustrated. That's what I care about, is how you feel, okay? We'll do a visualization. It will help you, okay? Yeah. Hi, Stacy. Courtney, I love you too. Michelle, you feel triggered when you feel dismissed. Yep. And I venture to say that as a little girl, a lot of you're very creative, Michelle. And so creative ideas, right, are important for you to share. A side note for you, sharing your ideas to get the worth or attention, like to be approved of from somebody, right, causes you to feel dismissed. Hold on to some of these ideas you have. Treasure them like a jewel, okay? Don't readily share. Allow you to honor yourself for some of these bright ideas you have. And then also, I want to encourage you, when you feel dismissed, to use your voice, okay? Like just say, hey, I'm sure you're really busy, but just want to remind you, I need a response on this, okay? For me personally, I'm a responder. So if somebody reaches out to me, I respond very quickly. And that is because there's a similarity, right? I don't want people to ever feel dismissed from me. So find ways, Michelle, that one, you can honor some of these gifts you have and not share them to prove that you're worthy of someone's attention. Sharing them you can share them for different reasons. They're coming to you for a reason. Don't waste them, okay? And when you don't feel heard, repeat to yourself, I am enough, all right? And use your voice. Say, I am confident to speak up and ask again. Try some of those things, all right? Yeah, it's really icky when we feel dismissed. I hear you. Mm-hmm. Yeah, your mom, your Vashi, yeah, I kind of see it in my mind. Accused of something I didn't do. Oh my gosh, Dina, right? It is the worst. It is the worst to be accused of something you didn't do. So it often starts in grade school when this happens. You probably even remember. I wouldn't be surprised. All right. You have a really good memory. And we get blamed for something, or a friend says we did something that we didn't do, and they tattle on us that it's not true, right? It's the worst. So when that happens, say, that's interesting. From your perspective, tell me how this has transpired, right? Allow it to happen and then ask the question. And also remind yourself that you are not defined, Dina, by other people's truth. You are not defined by their illusions. You are not defined by false beliefs that other people have. And then the other thing you can say is truth always prevails. At some point, truth prevails. Okay? Tell me how that lands. Michelle, that helped you? I'm so glad. I'm so glad. Yeah, triggers don't feel good. They are diminishing, right? They do. They diminish us because when we get frustrated or we feel icky inside, it dims our light. It dims, our vibration, and we start to resonate at a lower frequency. And maybe where we were being productive, we're sidelined and we can't be productive anymore. Or maybe we were in our grooves doing something we enjoyed. It gets tripped up in our mind and we loop in it. Yeah. All right. I'll come back in here. Maybe you'll think of something when I do the visualization, but that's right, Dina. Truth always prevails. And it does. That's the magic about it. Truth always prevails. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. It will prevail, Ellen. I'm sorry, dearest, you've been waiting so long. I think, Ellen, tell me what the trigger is. There's some things that take a long time for truth to prevail. And the truth things might shift differently than you anticipate. Yeah. I've known people that it took, until they were in their 70s before truth prevailed. And I don't want you to have to wait that long. But I know that at some point truth will prevail. Mm-hmm. And I hope that it's in your lifetime, right? We hear stories of people being incarcerated for 35 years, their entire life, and then they're exonerated because it was the court system was wrong and they were falsely accused. These things happen, and I can tell that it's sensitive and it's painful for you, and I'm sorry. Yeah. All right. Let's do a visualization, okay? I'm going to take you through some like possible scenarios. You'll know your own scenarios, okay, in here, and then we will allow the piece to transform it, okay, and activate a new scenario, okay? Yeah. Okay. Stacy, truth will prevail. It will. Alan, let me just read this. Then I'll do a Facebook. Then I'll do a live or a visualization. You caught a fly kickball in elementary school and no one believed it. Yep, it's things like that our subconscious holds on to, and we don't feel like people are going to believe us from that time forth. And then the vibrational energy gets sent out, and the universe sends us people to, not always, these are just things that can happen where we attract people like that into our life that don't believe us, or they diminish us, and then we don't feel understood. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I got so blamed in school too for something that I did not do. And catching a fly ball is like super exhilarating. I remember playing kickball, and it's super exciting when you click a fly ball. It's like it's the same as kicking or as catching a softball or a baseball, right? And it's an ouch. Like it's exciting, and then for people to not believe you, it's icky. Yeah. All right. Let's do this. So I want you, okay, to get into a comfortable position because I want to further support you and guide you through this visualization to help integrate our conversation and the insights tonight. So let's begin. I will cover my camera because I want you to be in your head, okay? I want you to be visualizing with me. So get into a comfortable position, preferably with both feet on the ground, okay? And let's begin. It'd be cool if I had like a cool graphic to put up, but it doesn't quite work that way because I'm not that tech savvy, okay? So let's begin. Let's begin by taking a breath of air into your lungs, filling your lungs to capacity and holding it. Now on the exhale, release the day's tensions and worries, just letting it go. The next breath, though, is a belly breath. So take your breath into the stomach, expanding your stomach to capacity. As you imagine, there is a cord attached to the inside of your belly button and the other end attached to your spinal cord. Now, on the exhale, you sense, feel, and imagine the cord is pulling your stomach back as you exhale all the way back. You've got more air in there. There you go, activating the central nervous system. Beautiful. One last breath, filling your lungs to capacity. As you imagine the breath continuing up into your brain, activating the right and left hemisphere, activating the cells in your body to release what no longer serves you anymore. Now, returning your breath back to normal as I count from 3, 2, 1. 3. You are becoming more deeply relaxed. 2. The sounds around you will always allow you to go deeper relaxed. And 1. You sense, feel, and imagine that you are in a field of flowers. You're just finishing planting the last yellow tulip in your flower garden. Standing up, you see the sun radiating over endless rows of your favorite flowers, giving them a soft, majestic glow. Brushing the soil off your hands, you feel satisfied with the lovely garden you've planted. As you begin to walk along the path, you hold your hands out so they brush up against the smooth petals of the flowers. Pausing as you raise your fingers up to your lips to gently blow off the pollen on your fingertips. And as you do so, it transforms into the most beautiful butterfly you've ever seen resting on the tip of your finger. As you curiously watch the rhythm of its wings, gently flapping up and down, it takes flight off your finger. You realize it's waiting for you. It seems to want you to follow. As you do, you notice the flowers seem to blow forward in the breeze, beckoning you in the same direction of the butterfly. The butterfly lowers its wings and flies directly through a field of flowers where it lands in a grassy area. Curiously, you kneel down to peek through the blades of grass and flower stems while gently maneuvering to find the butterfly. Instead, you find what appears to be a wooden chest buried in the tall grass and scattered among the flowers. It begins to budge as you wiggle it out. Placing it on your lap, you trace your fingers along the smooth wooden chest, following the lines that run through the wood until you come across a clasp in the middle. You hear click, and you slowly pull it open. You don't know why, but it feels like you've opened this before. This very same chest, even though you don't know how that can be. As the dirt cascades off from the sides, you lift open the chest and you see one single sheet of paper. The edges tethered like someone's held it many times before. Written on this single sheet of paper are two words: not enough. Images flash through your head of all the times you felt not enough. Images that weigh heavily on your heart. You begin to make out a vivid picture of yourself standing in front of a mirror hanging on the wall. As you look at your own reflection, you begin to see multiple versions of your life. You as an adult, feeling undervalued by your boss as they pile on more work. You as a teenager, feeling invisible as the cool kids laugh and stand around their lockers. You as a child, craving to make friends with the others on the playground. All the chapters in your life felt not enough. You begin to feel a deep sensation within your soul as each of these images begin to slowly fade, leaving behind the pain and illusions that never reflected your truth. A complete sense and wave of calmness and conviction that all this time you have always been enough. All the images dissipate like a drop of water evaporating. Looking down at the piece of paper, and magically you see it is blank. There are no words written on your paper. You stare in bewilderment and awe as you witness a new word being etched onto the paper right before your eyes. It's beautiful. The word is acceptance. You smile to yourself as you feel the truth of acceptance wash over you. As your eyes scan the word over and over, You breathe the word out into existence and feel a surge of bright light run through your entire body. The word easily absorbs into your body, straight into your soul. The word acceptance is your truth. It has always been your soul's truth. You look up, and those images begin to replay, but this time with your new word. You see this story from a new perspective, and you know the new perspective is your story. When the story stops this time, you no longer feel the weight of the chest on your lap. Why? It's disappeared. It's just you again among the peaceful field of grass and flowers. In this moment, you feel stronger as you feel the word accepted has been etched into your heart forever. And it has. Looking up across the tops of the flowers, you see your beautiful butterfly headed towards you, bringing along with it hundreds of beautiful butterflies who are beginning to circle around you, integrating and balancing your energy in your life. As they begin to dissipate, you stand up. And looking up into the sky, you see written on a big fluffy white cloud, your word, acceptance, your new belief, the beginning of your new story. This is the universe's way of acknowledging your divine truth that you are accepted by all. Inhale this new word. Feel it as it waffles through the air. The butterfly that led you down this path once again gently rests on your fingertip. You have a feeling it's here to stay. And it is. It's now a part of you wherever you shall go, reminding you of the transformation that took place within you. Bringing your awareness back to your breath, I will count from 1 to 3, and you will come back to your original space with clarity and inner peace. 1, bringing your awareness back to your body. 2, activating the cells of your body with your new integrated soul's truth, acceptance. 3, eyes wide open, as you are now fully accepting of receiving the answers you seek. Beautiful. When you're ready, open your eyes and come back to me. How'd you do? Everyone see the butterfly? And maybe, everyone accept yourself in your trigger, right? Like I used to say, I accept my dog barking. I accept the barking dog. I accept that I'm uncomfortable with loud noises because I have a hard time with loud noises. And that's really was the root of it. It wasn't the dog itself, right? So I accept myself when my bed isn't made. I accept myself when my room's messy. I accept myself when others don't see me for who I am. I know and trust that I am accepted by those people that serve my highest good. Right? Remind yourself that you accept yourself. You are accepting. Because oftentimes what happens is if we haven't measured up to the expectation that we had of life, then we feel that we did not do our part, that we missed out. And that will cause us sometimes to feel like it's an internal subconscious pattern of not accepting ourselves. I know that might be a bit deep, but it's true. We can be unaccepting of who we are. And it happens because of a myriad of things, but it's life. It's what we've been dealt in life. But it keeps you victim. And I don't want you to be victim. Okay. I want you to accept and feel empowered. Mm-hmm. All right. I'm sending you off in lots of love. And I'll come back in here. I love my tribe. Comment on post and I will respond. All right. It is me responding. It is not an assistant. I do all my own talking and all my own engagement. And that's because it feeds my soul to connect. So by all means, reach out. All right.